Men's and women's basketball get ready for their seasons at the annual Texas Tip-Off. Soccer makes program history at home, and volleyball continues their winning ways. All this and more coming up next on College Press Box. Welcome into College Press Box, the most comprehensive sports show on the 40 acres. I'm your host, Thomas Fitch, joined alongside Daniel Sheep. There was no football this week, but there was still plenty of action in UT athletics. Isn't that right, Daniel?
Yeah, Texas basketball took the stage last Wednesday at Gregory Gym. Both men's and women's basketball teams show what they can offer this season in front of the student body. For more on the Texas tip-off, here's our very own Taylor Courtney.
For the first time ever, the men's and women's basketball teams partnered up for Wednesday night's Texas tip-off at Gregory Gym. Fans waited in the rain to see familiar faces as well as some new ones. The festivities started with a women's exhibition game. The team impressed the crowd by draining 11 shots from beyond the arc in the scrimmage.
It was really about our young ladies having a good time, I think, in front of the fans. I told them this afternoon not to take themselves too seriously today. I wanted them to enjoy this environment because it was the first time they had had a chance to be a part of this tip-off.
The Texas tip-off also included a dunk contest featuring flashy dunks from senior Kerwin Roach, who dunked over TSTV's own Arya Bastami. Getting some help from his mother and brother, freshman Jackson Hayes jumped over both of them while wearing a burnt orange Kevin Durant jersey. The contest ended with sophomore Royce Ham Jr., who took home the win with the 360 dunk. The event finished with a men's exhibition game. Seniors Kerwin Roach and Dylan Osekowski led their teams into what became a highly contested competition, coming down to a last-second three-pointer. The Texas tip-off was a great way to exhibit the men's and women's teams with a sneak peek of what's to come this season.
It's our first meeting with fans this year. Our freshmen got their little jitters out at times. We saw like the potential that we have, and when things get going, how good we actually can be.
For TSTV Sports, this is Taylor Courtney.
Now joining us is basketball analyst Cameron Parker. Cameron, thanks for joining us. In this fourth season for Texas under Shaka Smart, what are the strengths for this team and who are the standout players?
Thomas, this might be the most talented team Shaka has had in his 4 years at Texas. Definitely one of the most athletic. With Jericho Sims returning, who I think got taller since last year, plus the incoming freshmen of Kamika Hepa and Jackson Hayes, who I think should have won the dunk contest, this team can jump out of the gym. But the Horns will only go as far as Kerwin Roach and Matt Coleman take them. The development of Coleman as a point guard will be huge in determining the success of this team, especially if he can get his three-point percentage up from last year.
Yeah, the team struggled with three-point shooting. Hopefully that will improve. As you said, last year Texas made the NCAA tournament due in a large part to the play of center Mo Bamba, one of the top players in the nation. But with Bamba now in the NBA, being drafted in the sixth overall in the first round by the Orlando Magic, what can the Longhorns do to replace him and what he brought to the team?
I might get kicked out of UT for saying this, but I think this team is better without Mo. I love him, but I think the players Shaka has this year mirror his envisionment for this program. The addition of transfer guard Elijah Mitri-Long from St. Mary's is a huge get for Shaka, plus the return of Dylan Osekowski, but I'm most excited for 6'11" freshman Jackson Hayes. If anyone can step in for Bamba, Hayes is the guy. He doesn't have the length of Bamba, but not many do, but there won't be anyone like Hayes on the court.
Yeah, definitely a tough role to fill just because of the incredible ability of Bamba. Going to the women's basketball side, Texas women's basketball also lost two players, losing Ariel Atkins and Brooke McCarty to the draft over the offseason. But they also pick up two big freshman commits, Sedona Prince, Charlie Collier. So can the Longhorns see some improvement this year?
Improvement will be tough because Karen Aston has a really young team this year, but they have a lot of potential. I would say they're about a year or two away from truly competing. But the incoming transfer guard, Danny Williams, will help their outside shooting. She can knock it down from anywhere. And, of course, the incoming freshmen, Charlie Collier and Sedona Prince, are going to be exciting to watch as they develop over the year. But I think both programs, both men's and women's, will be exciting this year.
Well, Cameron, thanks so much for joining us. When we return, we check in on the women's soccer team.
Welcome back to College Press Box. Texas soccer played their last 2 regular season home games against Kansas and Kansas State last weekend. Here's our very own Ted Kim's reporting on Texas' triumph over Kansas on Friday.
It was a rainy game of soccer tonight as the Texas Longhorns squared off against the Kansas Jayhawks, and it was most certainly a nail-biter. Texas came out of the gate strong with creative dribbling and strong team play as they controlled the game with chance after chance after chance. It was only a matter of time before the Jayhawks committed a penalty and conceded the first goal of the game.
Yeah, I was just kind of going for goal. I didn't really see the second defender coming, so I was just about to shoot. And, credit to Kira. That was an amazing finish. She got up there, iced the keeper, and put it away for us, which is what we needed. And it was definitely the turning point of the game for us.
But while Texas had a dominating first half led by Kira Dawes, Kansas came out and dominated the second half. Strong defensive pressure and aggression coupled with dangerous counterattacks put the Jayhawks within inches of scoring several times, but they were no match for UT. Led by freshman forward Emma Regan, UT put the nail in the coffin to go up 2-0 in this Big 12 matchup. Closing out games has been an issue for this Longhorn team, but they weren't going to let this be an issue here tonight. Here's Coach Kelly's thoughts after the close game.
Well, I just think it's a well-coached team, and it was going to be a chess match, and I was just really pleased with us continuing to push and getting that second goal.
With this win tonight against the Jayhawks, the Longhorns extend their 9-game home win streak to 10 and will look to carry this momentum forward as they face Kansas State this Sunday in Austin. From Mike A. Myers Stadium, I'm Ted Kim, TSTV Sports.
On Sunday, the Longhorns defeated Kansas State 4-0 in Austin at Mike A. Myers Stadium on senior night. The win completed their first perfect regular season home schedule in program history. By Adams and sophomore midfielder Haley Berg, who both scored their 6th goals of the season. The Horns will wrap up the regular season on the road against Texas Tech on Thursday. We now send it over to Daniel Shee and Robert Trevino for more analysis on the Kansas game.
Thanks, Thomas. Joining us today to analyze Texas' successful weekend is Robert Trevino. Robert, the box score on the game on Friday against Kansas doesn't really reflect the game. How difficult of a win was this for Texas?
Well, you're absolutely right. The 2-0 final score didn't begin to tell the story of how much Texas soccer really had to grind out for this win. First, you had the rainy environment, and then the scrappy Jayhawk team that refused to go away, even after being down 1-0 off of a penalty kick goal in the first half by Kira Dawes. In fact, Kansas had more shots on goal than Texas. They outshot them 12-9. Only the late Haley Berg goal was the decisive factor that put the game away. Texas had no time to catch its breath or be comfortable for the majority of this game. This was a tough win, and Texas really had to work to grind it out.
Well, coming into that game, Texas had given up a goal each of the last 6 games prior to the weekend. Yet they shut out both Kansas and Kansas State. Are you concerned about this defense going forward?
I'm not concerned about this defense going forward. They put up 2 impressive clean sheets this week, and having such a reliable goalkeeper in Nicole Curry is something else that you have to take into account. The defense had given up a goal in the 6 games prior to last Friday, but the only game that they gave up more than 1 goal was in their 2-1 loss to West Virginia. This defense is stout, and they're not giving up anything that isn't earned by their opponents. I'm not worried as UT begins to look to the postseason, and I don't think that there's any legitimate cause for concern.
Well, after a successful weekend at Austin, Texas will now travel to Lubbock for the last game of the regular season. Do you think Texas can walk away from Lubbock with a victory?
Well, you look at Texas Tech. They're coming off a 4-game road trip as well as a 2-0 loss to TCU in Fort Worth, and they've not won in Lubbock since September 23rd against Iowa State. So you should look for the Red Raiders to pull out all of the stops to try to finish off the season with a big win against the in-state opponents in the Longhorns. So it's not going to be quite so easy for the Longhorns to just walk in and pull out the victory, especially with Texas not having the best track record on the road, being 2-2-2 this year. However, you looked at the talent between the 2 teams. You have Sierra Hinson, you have Alexa Adams, and Haley Berg on the offensive attack. Texas should be able to pull this one out in Lubbock.
Well, always love having you on the show, Robert. Coming up next, Texas volleyball faced Texas Tech on Saturday as they try to stay on top of the Big 12. Don't go away. Welcome back to College Press Box. For the first time since October 6th, number 8 Texas volleyball played in front of the Texas Faithfuls at Gregory Gym. I was on the sidelines last Saturday to report the game. Texas returned to Gregory Gym for the first time in 2 weeks and defeated in-state rival Texas Tech in straight sets in front of a sellout crowd. Balance was the key word in this game for the Lady Horns, dominating the stats on both offensive and defensive side of the ball.
I think we took a little bit too much time off away from our offense. And it struggled for a little bit, but now we spent some more time on it this week, and I felt, what really helped them was our defensive touches. We started digging a lot of balls high in the center of the court, and that's what we've been working on before. We've been spraying balls to either pin, and it's making a challenge. But when they play like that, this is what we've been expecting from our right middle, and we haven't had it. So this is the first time, and hopefully it's something that we can build off of. Not that it'll be there every night, but it's nice to have that kind of balance.
It had been 2 weeks since Texas played at Gregory Gym, and the Lady Horns explained the significance of playing at home.
I think it's the toughest gym to play in just because, the environment, and then it feels like everyone's on the court. Everyone in the stands are on the court, so it's good to be back.
Yeah, I definitely think we're so used to playing Gregory, so it's nice because whatever swings you take or whatever, you just have this feeling of comfort, the court, the atmosphere. It just felt really good. It felt like everyone was just really happy on the court, and you just start to feed off that, and I think that was the biggest thing.
At this point of the season, some teams might actually look forward to the postseason already, but not Texas. Texas coach Jared Elliott is adamant that he wants the team to focus on the near future.
They're probably discussing it amongst themselves, but right now I'm worried about game 1 at Iowa State, and I hope they're in that same mentality. And I think we're just trying to rein them in of being good at every contact, every practice that we're going through. We've got a lot of room for improvement.
Texas goes back on the road to play Iowa State on Wednesday at Ames, Iowa. Their next home game will be on Saturday 27th against conference rival Oklahoma. From Gregory Gym in Austin, Texas, I'm Daniel Sheep, TSTV Sports.
We now welcome on Clark Dalton, our volleyball analyst, to break down the team's performance. So let's start with the Tech game. It was a dominating game for the Horns, winning in straight sets. But does this result prove for Texas that they're elite?
Texas did prove they are elite. Not only did they beat Texas Tech, but they were the better team statistically, with 14 more kills and a 43.8 hit percentage. That dwarfed the Red Raiders' 21%. Yasmin Badarkhani returned to form with the career-high 16 kills. The team did a great job of maintaining composure since they disbanded all comeback attempts.
Yeah, Texas sitting at 12-4 right now on the season, but 3 of those 4 losses coming on the road. So are these struggles a concern for Texas going down the stretch?
No, because 2 of those 3 losses were against Wisconsin and Stanford, both of whom are in the top 10. And when you look at the record of Big 12 teams right now, nobody is sitting at 500 or higher except for Kansas, and Texas plays them at home in this set of the season. Yeah. Also, the team has been much more smooth recently since they haven't let waves of momentum phase them.
Yeah, that's right. It's been an up and down season for Texas, who currently sits at number 8 in the national rankings. So as the Horns approach postseason play, what are their chances of making a run and going into the Final Four?
It will be an arduous road towards the Final Four since BYU is undefeated, Stanford is still at the top once again, and the Big Ten is arguably the toughest conference, with 5 teams in the top 10. However, Texas has several appealing qualities. Their conference isn't as taxing, so they will be refreshed come playoff time. Additionally, they have an extra motivation since they were knocking on the door last year, and it's the last opportunity for several players to etch their signature moment.
Well, Clark, thanks so much for joining. Just a reminder to students out there, the best way to see Texas sports is to purchase the big ticket on TexasSports.com. When we come back, we take a look at how swimming and diving fared over the weekend. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into College Press Box. Thanks again for joining us on your Monday night. Number 4 women's swimming and diving defeated number 6 Indiana and number 19 Florida this past weekend. Joanna Evans recorded the 2nd fastest time this year in the 1,000 meter free, while the woman won. The number 1 University of Texas men's swimming and diving team fell to number 3 Indiana and number 8 Florida in a 2-day meet at the Texas Swimming Center. John Shabat recorded the top time in the 200 IM this year, and Ryan Hardy recorded the second best in the 200 back. Both teams will take on Texas A&M at the Lee and Joe Jamail Texas Swimming Center on November 2nd at 6 p.m. TSTV went out to the swimming center this past weekend to catch up with assistant coaches and two of the athletes.
October is always a tough month for us, and as you said, it's early in the season. For us, it's a good barometer to see where we are in training. We have some great talent and leaders in the front end with the seniors, but we also have some young guns who are going to be making a big impact on the team.
I think this whole weekend went really well. We were just talking as a team in our final little meeting, and I think the biggest difference for us this year compared to my past 2 years is the attitudes are remarkable.
These meets are just good practice, and so we just wanted to get in there, do our dives, be confident, and be consistent. And so I'm really excited for this season, especially coming off of this meet and having a really positive start.
Texas women's tennis competed in the ITA Texas Regional at College Station last weekend. The Longhorns dominated the tournament. They sent 3 players into the semifinals and had 2 Longhorns battling in the final. Junior Anna Torati would defeat Bohana Markovic in the final to capture the ITA Texas Regional Singles Championship.
Over the weekend, the men's tennis team also competed in the ITA Texas Regionals in Waco, with juniors Christian Sigsgaard and Yuya Ito advancing to the semifinals in singles, and Sigsgaard and senior Harrison Scott advancing to the semifinals in doubles play.
Number 6 Texas Women's Golf hosted the Betsy Brohl Invitational in Austin last weekend. The Longhorns won the Invitational, outlasting number 16 Kent State on Sunday with a 9 under par performance. Freshman Haley Cooper had the best individual score. She finished the tournament with a 4 under par performance on Sunday, securing the individual medalist honor. Texas will return to action on November 2nd when they travel to Mexico to compete in the Cabo Intercollegiate.
On Saturday, the softball team defeated LSU in a thrilling game, coming back from down 6 runs in the 8th to win 8-6. Senior Brooke Bollinger earned the win, striking out 4 and only allowing 1 hit in 2 innings. The Horns continue fall ball this week with a doubleheader against Galveston College and Blinn College on Wednesday.
Now let's take a look at Longhorns' schedule for this week. On Wednesday, October 24th, softball will start their doubleheader, as Thomas mentioned, against Galveston College at 4:30 p.m. And then they play Blinn College at 7 p.m. You can catch both games on LHN. Volleyball will travel to Ames, Iowa at 8 p.m. and that game will be on ESPNU. Thursday, October 25th, soccer will go to Lubbock and to play Texas Tech, and that game will start at 7 p.m. On Friday, October 26th, cross country will be at the Big 12 Championship at Ames, Iowa, and that will start at 10 a.m. Saturday, October 27th, softball will play Weatherford College at 12 p.m. for the first game of another doubleheader, and then they will play St. Edward College straight away at 2 p.m. Volleyball will play Oklahoma at Gregory Gym at 3 p.m. That game is sold out, so the only way to go to that watch that game live at Gregory Gym is to buy the big ticket on TexasSports.com, or you will have to watch it on LHN at 3 p.m. Football goes to Stillwater to face Oklahoma State at 7 p.m., and you can catch that on ABC. Sunday, October 28th, soccer will start their Big 12 Championship tournament at Kansas City, Missouri, and that could go on till next Saturday. Women's basketball starts the season against West Texas A&M at an exhibition game at the Frank Irwin Center, and that game will start at 1 p.m. You can catch that on LHN as well.
That's it for this episode of College Press Box. Make sure you tune in Wednesday night at 9 p.m. for College Crossfire, the best debate show on the 40 Acres, hosted by Jonathan Polasic. From everyone in Master Control and in the studio, I'm Thomas Fitch, along with Daniel Shee. Have a great night.